To film school or to not film school? That is the question. I'm going to try a different format here on this channel. This is a different type of video that I haven't really made. This is unedited. This is a 20-minute discussion. I guess a one-way discussion, but I'd love for you guys to comment down below if you have things to add to this or ask about going to film school or not going to film school.
That is so awesome.
So I have a video production company that I made about 20 years ago. Well, 15 years ago. I've been doing video work for 23 years. And so anyway, Rough Cut Productions LLC went into effect about 15 years ago. And I make all kinds of different projects, take on all kinds of different projects from 30-second spots to full documentaries, to music videos. I love music videos. I'm a musician myself. And so you get to do all different types of projects when you have your own company. And I handle every aspect of those projects because I pretty much operate as a solo operator. I mean, I bring on additional help for certain projects, but in general, I get to come up with the concept. I get to do the interviews. I get to put together the storyboard plans. I get to film it. I get to light it. I get to interview it. I get to edit it. I get to color grade it. I get to do all the audio and the sound mixing and Foley sound and I get to build the whole damn thing from start to finish. And to say that that doesn't feel rewarding would be an understatement in every way, because it's really rewarding. It's from an artist perspective, that is so fulfilling, getting to look at something that you made from start to finish. Even when I do bring on some additional help to help film something from multiple angles in a live event experience or something like that, that's the majority of when I bring on other people. Maybe I'll bring on more people in the future, it just depends. But the point is that I get a lot of fulfillment from getting to do all those different aspects of a production. The thing about film school and what the end goal is that you end up being able to do with it is you could go to film school and then do what I'm talking about that I did. But realistically, I think you could just start doing, if you wanted to do what I'm talking about, you could just hop right into it. There's so much available online now that wasn't when I first started, as far as free lessons and free information and really low priced courses, way cheaper than going to college, and learning how to do it that way. Will you learn every aspect of what you would learn in film school? The community, the camaraderie, the projects that you're doing, collaboratively with people, the networking opportunities? No, you wouldn't get all that stuff. So and to get a direct pipeline with possible job placement and internships, on film sets, all that stuff is really like at your fingertips if you go to film school. And if that's the direction that you want to go, where you want to be a part of making the best content that comes out on the planet, which is theatrical release films, or now, obviously streaming platforms and their full movie productions, that's going to be the route that you'd want to go. But it's a long ladder to climb, or a tall ladder to climb, whatever makes more sense there. Because realistically, when you're going to film school, you're going to be specializing in a particular thing. And when you get out, you're going to go work for that specific job position. You'll probably get to taste a lot of different things, but ideally, when you're going to film school, you're going to kind of specialize in something, and you're going to get out there and you're going to hone in on that, and you're going to start there, and maybe you're going to gradually, hopefully, work your way up to being a DP or like a lead editor or whatever it is, but you're going to have to work your way up that ladder. And there's going to be a lot of smaller productions that you take on, so they're more artistically rewarding. Those aren't necessarily going to pay that well, And it's going to be real scattered and piecemeal. So you're going to be working another job, which maybe you're doing video work on the side while you're also doing that. But I will say it can be really hard keeping yourself available for those opportunities that are for a film while simultaneously dedicating yourself to projects for companies, let's say, or customers, direct clients. And you've dedicated yourself to a schedule for them and their needs, and you've organized the shoots for that. And so you might find that you might make a significant amount more money doing your side hustle while you're getting the opportunity that you're building up for the film set. So it's a lot of double job stuff. You're going to do school and you're going to do moonlighting on the side. Then you're going to get out and you're going to do film stuff, and probably won't be consistent enough. So you're going to be doing some more moonlighting on the side or a totally different job that pays the bills. All these things are on the table. Or you could go the route of making your own production company, doing your own videos from start to finish for companies. Now, I cannot sit here and tell you that that's an easy thing to do. It is not. And in fact, I would say that one of the stipulations to be able to do that successfully and have enough work that's coming in is that you cannot start a video production company, put out a couple of posts on social media, and expect the work to just come to you. It is most likely not going to happen that way. You've got to get out there and drum up the initial work. And you might find that you have to do this for a spurt, then you get a bunch of work. Then you think that you're good and something happens organically where you get more work, and then you realize you run out of work, and then you have to do another spurt of self-promotion and reaching out with cold emails and cold, it used to be cold calls, but cold emails still are great, or messaging companies directly through apps. Whatever it is, you have to create those work opportunities for yourself. And if you're doing stuff for companies and you're doing start to finish on concept creation, you need to understand marketing a little bit. And when I say understand marketing, I should say you need to like marketing a little bit. Now, for me, I do. I grew up around my dad, who was like always interested in coming up with a business idea. Like, it didn't matter. Like, every time we would be together and we were driving around town, he would always have some random business idea. So I just grew up around that. I liked the idea of marketing. If you like it, then it's not soul sucking. If you don't like that, then this is still not necessarily the right career path for you. Now, would it unlock the opportunity to make free-spirited artistic projects with the gear set that it pays for you to build up? Each time you get a gig, you take a percentage of that, you buy more equipment, you use it as a tax write-off, and you just keep building up and building up. You do need to do that for years and keep killing the profit margins that you would have by building up your initial set of lights and sound and editing and a computer and upgrading the camera by the time that you finally have gotten those other things, and now the camera's outdated, which is a different conversation at this point because the diminished returns on how good cameras have gotten, and I'll be making a video talking about that, so maybe that's not as much of an issue. But point being, there's still a lot of hustling involved in starting your own production company. It's not like you just get to start it and live off that money right away. For me, it was still like roughly, I'd say it was like a 3-year, really it was only 2 years. It was about a 2-year transition when I decided seriously that I wanted to solely do video production work. I was doing it kind of part-time while I was pursuing being in a band, and it was a way of doing gigs here and there that I could space out, that I didn't have to dedicate myself to a 9 to 5. So I was flexible enough to go on that band opportunity should it present itself. And that's a whole other story. I did the rock band thing for 10 years, and now I got a band, but we're just doing our own stuff on the side. And I get to use all this video equipment and all these video skills that I built up over the last 20 years and put it into that and make these really epic music videos that are part of a whole scripted sci-fi story thing. So see, I'm getting to do the artistic thing there too. I have gotten to the point, and I was able to do this relatively quickly because it was in my headspace that I wanted to push my company in this direction, where I'm doing full documentaries for companies. And that is really something that you could do, and if you, depending on how you're getting those gigs, if you're getting to talk directly to the owners of those companies and you're getting to create this opportunity for yourself where you're doing, like, whether it be a founder's video or a documentary on a new product line coming together, or, there's a million ways that you can spin this where you're going to get to tell a story, and you're going to get to interview people and film real events happen and put that in your story. And that's exactly what I've gotten to do for Trans Am Worldwide. I just completed, for years now, for like 12, 13 years, I'm filming this, and we're going to put out the video this week, but I've been filming for another project for a customer that had a car built. These are like $300,000+ Chevelle tributes that are amazing pieces of art. And what a cool gig. And I get to film the whole process of that car coming together and all the unique features that went into the design choices for their build. And I get to put that story together however I see fit. It culminated at the end of it with debuting the car to the customer at SEMA, which is one of the largest car shows that happens in the world annually in Las Vegas, and I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. So, really fun, unique, wild opportunities, storytelling out the wazoo, and I get to do anything I want to do with those projects. And I invented and created the opportunity for them to be these 20+ minute extravagant things. A lot of times a company might just be thinking they need a video for social media or the homepage of their website, and they're thinking a couple of minutes, and you can, if you have a vision, really stretch and expand that idea out for them. But a lot of times they are not going to be the ones to think of that for you. They're not going to know that they'd even want something like that. And so for me now, because I have so many portfolio pieces like that, I can give that example. But at first, that was all me talking and pitching to do something that at the time I had not done. And so it was nerve-wracking, and you put yourself in these situations where you've taken money for these projects, and they're much larger things than you've ever done before, especially as somebody that was self-teaching myself through trial and error. And then you have to finish this. Like, if you do not finish failure is not an option. Like, you're living on this, you have to finish it. And, if your intention is to hit it out of the park, so that we have a portfolio piece that then gives you an opportunity for another project with the client, and that you can also use to get new clients, and hopefully in both cases elevate your pricing for expanding. Like, if we did this with this budget, imagine what we could do if we had this budget, all these kinds of things. So you're constantly working all that out. So there's a lot of marketing involved in that. Marketing yourself, coming up with concepts for a client that will help market their product or their service in a unique way. But it's an immense storytelling opportunity if you can take it on that way and you enjoy marketing. If you do not enjoy marketing, I would personally not recommend this being a route for you. So that is a pretty long rant. That is all unedited. I have put in some shots of stuff that I've done just so you can even know if you should be listening to me. I think a lot of times there's plenty of people on here that have what sounds like good information, but they haven't necessarily done a lot of projects. They kind of just went straight to YouTube and make content. And there's some people that do stuff on there that's absolutely jaw-dropping, amazing. But yeah, I thought I would show some of my work while I'm talking, just so you have an idea of if you should even be listening to me. Like, if you think the work looks good, then great. And I've filmed with all kinds of different cameras. I've got Red, I've got Canon is a major thing that I've been using lately, Canon R5Cs. I've got 2 of them now. I film with Sony. I like all the different camera brands that I've tried. I've been curious about Blackmagic for a long time, but haven't owned one. I'm really happy with Canon right now. Anyway, all of it's good. So I'm going to close out there. That's just a general point, or a bunch of points of why I didn't go to film school and why this was the right direction for me. And if you're entertaining the idea of film school, just things to weigh out. It's like, just really think about, where is it that you want to end up from having gone to film school? What's the job position that you want to have? How much hands on deck do you want to have on it? Are you going to be satisfied, even if you work your way up to being a DP, just filming and not getting to use that footage and edit it at the end and color grade it and analyze it and grow from it that way, and rather just seeing somebody else work with your footage and do what they do, which can be amazing, I'm just pointing out, like, if you're a control freak, if you can be honest with yourself and you really want to do all those different facets as a storyteller, then that it's going to be really hard to achieve that just working on film sets. And yes, you can go to film school and then do everything I've done and possibly better, because you know some things that I do not, So I'm not, but it is definitely, you're going to have debt and you are waiting to start your career. You are waiting to start your career. You could start the career sooner and put your feet in the fire and just go for it. But for me, it was still, I still had to work another job while I was doing that. It was stagehand work primarily, which was also kind of like a flexible schedule, and that you could take a gig or not take a gig depending on what shows were coming through. That's just the way that kind of job position works. So it left me flexible enough for the band stuff, but it also left me flexible enough for the video gigs as I gradually got them. So those were real conducive. But I think realistically, when you graduate from film school, you're still going to be in the boat of needing to do some other type of work while you're working your way up in the world of whether you're being on film sets or, you are starting your own video company, and you're still going to have to go through all the motions of learning how to market yourself and working with clients and customers and understanding how those expectations work. There's just a lot of dynamics involved in that if you just go do it, I mean, I think that you'll be further ahead at the end of 4 years, in making your business be a reality versus just starting that at the end of film school. If you're actually thinking you're going to go to film school and then make your own business out of the gate that way. So those are a lot of things to think about. This is not the only style of video that I make. This is the first time I've ever done an unedited video like this, and I want to make more videos for my channel. And realistically, to edit them takes more time, and I get so busy with my paid work that I'm dying to talk about this stuff. And I just feel like there's things out there that I could share that would just give people a head start. And I really enjoy talking about it. So I'm just going to I'm going to be making some of these too, where I just get to make content more regularly, and it's going to cover a wide gamut of topics, because this is a loose rant of information. But I think that there's valuable stuff in there to think about. Now, if you do enjoy that, by all means, hit the subscribe button if you want to find out more. If you want to see more specific tutorials, I've got some really interesting stuff coming up that I'm excited to show about color grading these car films and how I'm color grading with the Canon R5C footage, and what I'm doing that all inside of Adobe Premiere with also some Red Giant Color Suite tools as plugins, and I'm never having to leave. I never have to pull the project out and put it in DaVinci. I'm just staying inside of Premiere with that method. That's how I do it, and these are the results that I'm getting in the images that you see. So I've got that coming up. I'm going to talk more specifically about how I got the Trans Am gig. I'm going to talk specifically about pay rates and what you can charge for making car films. I'm also going to talk about what you can charge for making music videos and what types of videos pay the best, because I do a lot of different types of projects for a lot of different types of clients, and what I also find the most fulfilling. And, there's all kinds of things that I'll be talking about, whether it be cameras, business advice, in trying to run your production company. When I say business advice, I want to be really sensitive about that. I don't want to tell people what to do. I really just want to share stories about what I've done and experienced, and give some red flags for things to avoid and tips for things that I've found to be the most profitable for me in my situation. And I also want to do a video coming up talking about being in a smaller city versus being in a bigger city. Do you have to move in order to have enough work available to live off of production work? And obviously, if you've followed this long, you can tell I have only been doing video work for the last 15 years. That's it. That's the only way that I have produced money. So yes, I'm in a town called Tallahassee. It's in Florida, and it's a population of, with the surrounding areas and stuff, around 1 million people. So not huge, not super small, but if you have the ambition to create the work for yourself, you can be really creative in how to create concepts for people and go pitch them about it. People that weren't even thinking about making videos. And that's what I did, and still continue to do sometimes. So anyway, really fun talking about this. I hope you found it valuable. If you are a single person shooter, I'm going to recommend one video. I'm going to put it here at the end. It's tips for solo filmmaking or solo productions. And in that was one that a lot of people didn't see, but it really has some valuable tips for when you're trying to be a one-man band, and you're trying to keep the profit for yourself and still come in at a budget that they can afford, but still make something like, that hopefully comes out like really professional feeling for them. So they get that national branding look and all that. Anyway, a lot of stuff to go over. I will talk to you guys later and catch you on the next one. Peace.